Alright, back with another video. Thanks for being here. I didn't anticipate that that there'd be such a break between the last video and this video, but we had like 2 weeks of ice and snow, and it just wasn't really conducive to pull all of the video stuff out and do a video. So nevertheless, here I am, and I want to talk about something that is very near and dear to my heart. Now let me give you a little bit of background. Back in 2002, I was a really overweight teenager, and I didn't like the way that I looked. I didn't like the way that I felt. There was just a lot of reasons why I started hitting the gym very regularly. I ended up losing almost 100 pounds in that span of time, like in a few months actually. I think in something like 9 or 10 months. Lost about 100 pounds. And ever since then, the gym and working out and all that has been a very big part of my life. And I have found that ultimately fitness and being fit and spending sometimes a very large investment of time into fitness has helped me in a lot of other areas of my life. Now, in the last few years, this has evolved into 60 minutes, typically no more, of training, typically 4 to 5 times per week, and it has really translated well to other things that are just good for daily life. So I coach kids soccer. It's really helped being able to keep up with those kids, keep up with all the kids that I coach out on the field, but also just general physical preparedness, sort of feeling like I can take on anything, anytime, anywhere, whether it's a hike or a strenuous bike ride or a skateboard ride or like whatever. But one big thing that I feel like fitness has done for me is be able to make me into a better or more capable motorcycle rider. And what I mean by that is that when I have very, very long riding days, or I talk to peers of mine about very long riding days, whether it be on-road or off-road or a mix of the two, we tend to have very different experiences in how our levels of soreness and our overall levels of enjoyment of just general life the next day after long days of riding. And I can chalk this up to a few things, but probably the biggest thing that I would say is just my commitment to fitness and overall being able to build my strength and develop just certain parts of me that are stronger and better developed and probably lend itself well to recovery from strenuous motorcycle riding. So here's some things that I want to talk about. Some areas of development that riders can do that's not gonna, it's not gonna be too strenuous. It's not gonna take up too much time. But overall, I would say squats, back squats or front squats, are going to be preferable, but being able to do squats of some kind is going to be a really big advantage for you. Bulgarian split squats are a good sub for that too, being able to isolate to one side, and that'll also help with balance and things like that. Deadlifts are a huge one. You can do these in all types of variations. Conventional is probably the best, but sumo or clean or snatch deadlifts, so all these different variations of deadlifts can be really, really beneficial for you. And these can be done with a barbell, which is how I'll usually do them, but they can also be done with dumbbells, and maybe even better, a couple times a week, being able to hit single leg deadlifts. Again, helps you work on balance. It also helps you work on strength and so many different things. Traps, again, not traps, shrugs, doing like shoulder shrugs, again, either with a barbell or with dumbbells probably being the most optimal in this case, are going to give you great stamina in terms of being able to just hold your, I'm holding my arms up here every time that we ride. If we have a 5-hour ride day, for instance, we are holding our arms in this fixed position for 5 hours. And if you're doing off-road riding of any kind, you're likely going to be much more clenched up. You're going to be doing lots of moving, standing up, sitting down, moving around, doing all that kind of stuff. And being able to be strong in these key areas is going to be very big for you. So areas of emphasis are going to include the traps, the glutes, the hips. Oh God, I'm going to do another video about short riders on a T7, short riders adventure riding. But the ability to have mobile hips is going to be a godsend for you. because a lot of what your life is going to revolve around, if you want to get into this, dirt riding or adventure riding as a short rider, is going to be how quick can you move your hips. You have to be able to shift your weight entirely from one side to the other, be able to plant your leg, quickly get back up. It's just not something that tall riders ever really have to deal with, and it's not something that we even really think about when we're starting to consider getting into motorcycle riding. Is, hey, how mobile and how strong and how mobile and strong can your hips be? But it's a huge point of emphasis. So legs, glutes, hips, traps. But if you're somebody that is either not that into fitness for whatever reason, or you don't have dumbbells, you don't have a barbell or whatever, if I could say, hey, what is one piece of equipment that you should get that can give you the most benefit for the lowest amount of money and not have to use up a garage space or go join a gym or whatever, what can you do? Man, I would say go buy a kettlebell. Go get a couple of kettlebells, because you can do a ton with kettlebells. For example, you could do this is what I do, single kettlebell Bulgarian split squats. I do it with a 53-pound kettlebell usually, and I'll do 4 sets of 12 on both sides of my leg. And I just put my foot up on a folding chair, and then I do a Bulgarian split squat that way. I mean, you get a tremendous amount of value out of that. You can spend, I don't know, we could probably get a 53-pound kettlebell for $70, I would guess, $75 maybe. Maybe I'm wrong on that. Somewhere around there. It's not gonna be more than 100 most likely. But you can do a ton of stuff with that. If you did 10 to 15 minutes of just kettlebell swings, and you could do it in 5 3-minute rounds or 15 1-minute rounds or whatever you want to do, if you did that 3 to 4 times a week, within a few weeks you would be noticeably stronger. And all those areas, with the hip speed, the hip strength, the glutes, the legs, I mean, so much would be stronger. Your core, oh my God, I didn't even talk about the core. The ability to transfer power when you are riding, but then also when you inevitably drop your bike and you need to pick it up. Yes, a lot of that strength is coming from your legs, but ultimately the conduit for your arms, which is helping pick up the bike, to your legs, which is actually picking up the bike, is that core. Being able to have a strong midline for all those types of things that you're going to need to do. It's only going to give you more confidence when you're out there riding with buddies, but ultimately it's going to give you a lot more confidence when you're out there riding by yourself too, because sometimes you might be a little nervous about riding on your own or doing routes or dirt routes on your own, simply because you don't have the confidence to lift a bike if you drop it or drop it several times. I mean, I dropped my bike a half dozen times in a single day on the Washington BDR a couple of summers ago, and picked it up every single time. And yeah, I was smoked at the end. You're talking about fully loaded. It was probably a 500-pound bike, picking it up over and over and over again. But that's what you gotta be. It's what you gotta be able to do. Furthermore, having your cardiovascular strength, your conditioning good in a good place is going to pay its dividends. And this can be in the form of steady state cardio, just going on a run a couple times a week, or a few times a week, or doing CrossFit, or doing intervals or whatever. But being able to get your heart strong is going to be so good for you. It's going to be such a good investment of time in helping you not tire out and not wear out while you're doing this riding. To summarize this video, which hopefully was short, I'd recommend getting out there and working on your fitness. As we head into the next riding season, if you're in the United States right now, you're probably still in a cold spot in the country, at least a good chunk of you are, and spending the next few months while you're in hibernation, so to speak, getting fit. And this can, honestly, you could do this 3 times a week for a few months, and you will have a amazing riding season this summer, especially if you're going to be spending any amount of time adventure riding or backcountry riding or dirt riding. But spending some time focusing on your hip strength, your glute strength, your traps, and your cardiovascular system is going to pay great dividends. And again, the biggest bang for your buck is going to just be pick up a kettlebell or a couple of kettlebells, and you'd be amazed. You can even I mean, just Google kettlebell programs. They exist out there, and they'll give you everything you need to get. For me personally, I use CrossFit Linchpin, $15 a month. I'm not sponsored by them, but $15 per month. They give me 4 or 5 different options of workouts that I can do each day for a variety of different things. I mean, if I only have dumbbells, I have a workout. If I have nothing at all and I'm out traveling, which I do a lot, I have a workout that's built in that I can do. So everything's right there the way that I need it. It provides me with strength and agility and conditioning training and all that kind of stuff. And it's only made me a better rider. Back in my 20s when I first started riding in 2010. And back then I worked out and I went to the gym and all that kind of stuff, and I would do my 30 minutes of elliptical and my 30 minutes of weights, or my 1 hour of elliptical and my 25-minute weights or whatever. And I had a lot of limitations in terms of my overall just fitness. And then when I changed to do more like athletic style training, which for a lot of people that's going to be CrossFit or CrossFit style high intensity interval training, and I focused a lot more on strength, that's when I really saw my riding skills and acumen turn up. Just being able to be physically ready also made me just a lot more confident as a rider, and that is worth its weight in gold. In my opinion, if you can have confidence while you're riding, it's really like the greatest gift that you could ask for. It's going to be more, having confidence while you're out riding is going to give you more dividends and pay more dividends than the best gear or modifications that you could ever imagine would be. So keep that in mind. Hope you all are having a great start to 2024, and I look forward to talking to you all soon.